and Manny, it is on for May 2nd, though there are still many questions that need to be answered prior to this mega fight at the outset of May. To answer those questions, let's bring in ESPN senior boxing writer Dan Rafael. Dan, first off, who will be calling this fight on May 2nd?
Well, as you know, it's a joint pay-per-view between HBO, which has a contract with Floyd Maweather. With Manny Pacquiao. Part of the negotiation, a significant part of the negotiation between the networks on their deal was how are they going to integrate their teams and how are they going to actually produce and do this entire event. And what they did was they did similar to what they did in 2002. The networks for the Mike Tyson Lennox Lewis heavyweight title fight was to put their teams together. And so my understanding, and it's again, this is not official. They haven't formally announced that will be coming. I would imagine the next few days or week or so. But my understanding is that you'll have Jim Lampley, who is the HBO blow-by-blow commentator. He will do the blow-by-blow. You have Al Bernstein, who is the Showtime main analyst. He will work with Jim on the broadcast. And the third analyst will be Roy Jones, who also works on HBO. And then Jim Gray will handle the interviews. Max, of course, works for HBO. Jim is with Showtime. They'll be, if you will, the sideline reporters for this event. They'll do the interviews and the ringside reports. And then you have also, how are they going to handle unofficial scoring? Again, Harold Letterman does that for HBO, Steve for the broadcast. So let's have one extra scorecard that they'll display on the screen during the course of the fight. You talk about the ring announcers. Jimmy Lennon Jr. is the voice of Showtime boxing. Michael Buffer and his Let's Get Ready to Rumble, that's the voice of HBO boxing. Again, they're going to handle it the same way that they did in 2002 for Lewis versus Tyson, and that is they will share the ring announcing duties. So Michael Buffer, he'll be the guy that brings Manny Pacquiao into the ring and into the knockout. You'll see the guy whose network fighter wins the fight, that ring announcer will read the result, the formal result, and if it goes to a 12-round decision, they will alternate reading the scorecards and the decision so they don't rob everybody of the drama that goes along with reading the decision to a fight. Those are the basics. Now there's going to be other guys, other things that they'll probably be announcing that aren't necessarily public at this point. And one other thing I want to throw in there is that the host of the pay-per-view, CBS NFL football studio show, and he is working for CBS, which is the parent company of Showtime. It's really going to be an all-star team.
Combining the talents of both networks. You know, drug testing, it was an issue. It put the brakes on previous possible negotiations for this fight. So what stipulations?
Basically, because in recent fights, or ever since that first negotiation fell apart in 2010, Floyd Maweather has been tested by USADA randomly and also insisted that his opponent do the same. That's the United States Anti-Doping Agency. They're the folks that are involved in our Olympic program and have been involved with other fights over the years, as well as other sports. And so Pacquiao, he has used a different organization for some of his recent fights, but Mayweather insisted they use USADA. This time Pacquiao is on board, and it will also be overseen, of course, by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So really, when it came down to making this deal, the drug testing was not a big issue.
How about what kind of gloves, Dan? What kind of gloves will each fighter wear for the fight?
Well, if you follow Floyd Maweather, you know there was a big stink about the gloves in one of the Maidana fights about would the fight happen, and they had to end up paying Maidana extra money to use the gloves that Floyd wanted them to wear. In this case, I am told by both sides that in the paperwork, in the contract, it doesn't just even say brand of gloves that each man will wear. So Floyd Maweather has worn for years Grant gloves. Manny Pacquiao has for years worn Reyes gloves. It says in the contract, from what I am told, that each man will wear that brand of gloves. Floyd will wear his Grants, Manny Pacquiao will wear his Reyes, and of course, because it's a welterweight fight, it will be 8-ounce gloves, as is the rule from the Nevada.